Good morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. We are bridging the nations, and we are so excited to see you. We were on a little break last week, and I thought about that. On last week, it was the first time, good morning, Miss Senegal, that we had to just take a little break in over a year, right? And so we are so delighted to be able to come into your living room, your great room, your front room. Some of us from down south, we know what it means when somebody say your front room. Your front room, wherever you are in your vehicle, pull over and be present for
Yeah.
bridging the nations. I am Antoinette Marie Williams of Antoinette Marie Speaks, and I just want to say that I am so happy and delighted to see you and for that you have joined us today. And so we're going to spill it right on over to the Lady Queen. I am.
What's up, family? This is your girl, Shamika, also known as a Lady Queen, and I came to motivate you with the Word of God because we understand that all of that comes from the Word of God. All that, motivation, the best bestseller books on motivation come from the Word of God. So we came to motivate you with the Word of God. I'm so excited about what we're going to talk about today. I'm happy to be back with my family, with Sister Queen Antoinette Marie, Brother King Williams right there. I'm so excited to be back. So go ahead and press the heart button if you have not yet. And then if you're on YouTube, press that thumbs up button. And then press the subscribe button. Subscribe to my brother channel, subscribe.
Yeah.
Let's go. And then go ahead and share to every group and page you're associated with, because you do not want anyone to miss out about what's going to be spoken about today. So I'm going to go ahead and throw it down to my brother King right here as he begins to break bread.
What's up, my people? Man, we're so excited to be back with you all this week. We got a couple of messages. We missed y'all. Hey, Brandy, we missed you all last week. And believe it, it wasn't an easy decision for us not to do it. I was traveling. Antoinette Marie was traveling. Lady Queen had her own responsibility, so there's no way that we could do it. But we are here today, and let the bread breaking commence. Go ahead and reach out. Tell your mom and them, your cousin them, you better holler on here. If you want the healing to begin, this is your moment in time. Don't complain to me no more about what's going wrong in your life, because I'm telling you to join the triad this morning. If you would, go ahead and type 2 or 3 names in the comment box. Let's get them here before this bread breaking commence. I am your boy, the motivational teacher to the masses. And again, you came to earth. When God sent you to earth, you came to earth with purpose. You came to earth with something on your life. And I'm here to help you realize that human capital that's been given to you, and you will accomplish everything that God has given you to do. New information equals new behaviors, new actions, and that's going to help get you there. Antoinette Marie, set us up.
So let me tell you, in this season of individuals are discovering them own selves, right? And when I began to think about bridging the nations and what is it, God, that you would have for us to speak to your children, right? Because we love y'all, but we also recognize who the great I am is in your life. And so I had been saying for months, I had just been doing some heart work, y'all. And so we all know that before God brings things into fruition, other people's lives, he ministers to you and yourself first, right? And so this aspect and this topic of just healing. And so today we're going to be speaking about letting the healing begin. But the first thing I want to do with this, and we're going to take our time, y'all. We're going to take our time. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I want to just talk a little bit about actually what the word healing actually means. And I think that that's going to set the prescription together for what we are truly speaking about today. So, according to the English dictionary, healing means the process of curing, listen now, or becoming well. Mhm. To heal is to cure from an ailment or make an injured person healthy and whole. Circle that word right there, whole. Circle that word. To repair naturally, or to be repaired and restored naturally. Yeah. To settle, to rectify, to settle, to rectify, or repair something that causes discord to another person, or to get rid of a wrong or evil or painful affliction. I know that when we come on Bridging the Nations, I want to go ahead and get into this, but I know first we want to give y'all just some scriptures because we know that we have divinity within us mixed in with our humanity. So I can give you 1 Peter 5:7. I'm calling on Joy Jacobs. I don't see her yet, but I'm calling on Sister Jacobs. 1 Peter 5:7, if you need a scripture. We can also go to Ephesians 4:31 through 32. We can also go to Philippians 3. Good morning, Angel. The 12th chapter through the 14th verse. I'm just going to stop right there. Hebrews 12:4. We're going to stop right there. So you got those scriptures. We done set it up. So one of the things here is that I had posted something and I said, it is very difficult, I'm paraphrasing, to heal in an environment that actually made you sick. It's very difficult to do that. Now, I know that there are individuals that have done that, and God bless you on that. But what I want to say today is that healing is really an inside job. It's an inside job. It's the work that you must do, right? Healing is work that you must do. And I want to say this morning, never leave your healing up to somebody else. Don't give any other individual the capability of saying that they healed you. There's a time and a point in your life where you have to do that work. And so as you begin, good morning, Lori, as you begin to go through what you are going through, whether it's pain, whether it's heartache, or whatever it is, I want to first let you know that you must do that hard work. And I know at times, and we know at times where we feel as though we're strong and, we're over it. We say those things. We say those things all the time. Oh, I'm over it. Let me say, you can't get over something that you have never dealt with. And I know a lot of times we see people and we're just like, oh, I gave it over to God. That's good. That's a start. That is a start. Then God will say there's some work that you need to do as well. Because this is what I know for sure. Just by you saying that you gave it over to God does not mean that you still are not traumatized. I feel a preach up in me this morning, but I'm gonna keep it. I'm really am until I just unleash it. Because I think a lot of times what has happened to us is that we try to say to God, we make him responsible for it all. And we don't want to do any work. We make him responsible for us losing our house. We make him responsible for my husband leaving, my wife done left, my kids are acting up. We make him responsible for it all. But where is your responsibility? Right? So today we're going to deal very gracefully. And we're going to talk about, how do you heal? How do you heal? How do you begin the healing process? Because as we all know, we can talk about, oh, I'm healed. But beloved, sometimes that takes time. It takes time, right? And sometimes we want to be like the Puff Ghost Dragon and just be like, oh, okay, I prayed about it. I turned around. I was laid on my face. And all of a sudden I'm healing, that I'm whole, that I'm healed. It don't always work like that, right? Because some of us have experienced trauma. Some of us have experienced healing. And today, for me personally, I'm just going to be really just talking about that type of healing that needs to happen, that emotional healing. When every time you see somebody, you want to sock them in the face and you say, I'm healed though. No, baby, you're not. You're not. You're not. And that type of healing takes time. Whether it is your uncle, your auntie, whoever offended you, sometimes that takes time. And particularly when you're going to see that person, when you know that you're going to see that person at the family reunion and you get a big old knot in your throat, or you start to sweat, or you start to kind of your neck, something is happening with you, right? Right? Even if your heart has been broken, the pain from that does not relinquish itself in 20 minutes. It doesn't relinquish itself. It may make you feel good that you watched a program, and then all of a sudden you hear the person speaking and you feeling good. But at the end, when that program is off, what are you experiencing then? Right? And I know some of us have issues of whether it's abandonment, whether it's past situations, whatever it is. But I do want to give you some hope today as I get ready to flip this right on over. What you desire when it comes to healing, God allows for us to be able to come to him and to say openly, even in your, we call it your sacred place. I call it your sacred place. I say, spend that time with the great I am. Don't look for anybody else to help you to do it, or to lay hands on you and then all of a sudden, oh, you listen. If you always depend on another person to do it, then sometimes that person, that entity, becomes your God. And there are times in your life, beloved, where you're going to have to just sit in that, and you're going to have to get before God yourself, because God dwells within you every day. But we got to have a relationship, right? We got to have a relationship with God. And you're going to have to sit on that, and you're going to have to lift that thing up. You're going to have to talk about it. And a lot of times we don't want to talk about it. We just want to say it's gone. But let me say something to you. When you hear their name, or your children say to you, or they sense something when you see something on television, that lets you know you're not complete with that thing. There's something else that's still there. There's some residue that's still there, right? So we're going to start like that this morning. And then we're going to help. We're going to assist in this healing process. Is it a one-time thing? No, it's not. It wasn't that for me. And I'm going to tell you a story a little bit later. Lady Queen?
Definitely. What I realize is, it's something you were saying something, and a lot of times we don't even know that we're injured there in order to allow the healing to begin. And I think about that in the physical aspect, working in the medical background, how there might have been an elderly person or someone that was bed bound, and they would lay on the bed, and not until they were rolled or something like that where they begin to see actually a wound or or something starting like a pressure wound. And the family would say, well, I didn't even know. And it was because of the fact that it had not been moved, or the person had not been moved in a while, or enough to take the pressure off of it in order to see that there's actually a wound. And so it's like that in our lives with healing. A lot of times, whenever we go through things in life, we don't even really know that we're injured until something else takes place. And we're like, whoa, where did that come from? Whoa, I just like, seriously, and you're like, whoa, like, people around you might be like, it wasn't even that serious. But because you've been injured in that area before, you took it very seriously and didn't even realize that was something actually that had impacted you in that manner. And then you can deal with what is going on. So a lot of times we have to learn how to be present right now and what's happening right now, because of the fact is we don't see that there's possibly some damage that has been done. And just like the body, the body sends cells to that damaged area. It sends cells to that so that it can do some work. But me picking the wound over and over again and not dealing with it, dealing with it in the healing process will actually just keep reopening the wound versus dealing with it in the right way so that it can heal. Some are so deep that it has to have like a wound vac. Same thing with us in our life. Some are so deep that it has to be something that draws it out of us to realize. And that, I believe, that's how God works. He allows things to be exposed so that you can deal with it. You don't even know it's something that has become dark in your heart. You don't even know, but God wants it allows it to be exposed so that way you can deal with that thing. And I think that's even in my life, right now, realizing some things that maybe I had not dealt with long time ago. And I was like, and a lot of times we say, oh, well, it's all good. I'm good. And we like to throw that out there. I'm good. I'm real good. And because we don't really deal with it, we don't really face it. And how do I know that I'm injured unless I really face it? But it's learning how to be present, very present in this time, in this space, like in that moment, so that you can see exactly what's going on, so that you can allow the healing to begin and not continuing to re-injure it, because of the fact is it never was healed in the beginning. And then even after it's healed, sometimes sis, is sore, right? Even after it's healed, sometimes it's really, really sore. And so somebody poke at it and it rubs you wrong. Or even if you poke at it, it rubs you wrong, not realizing that, it's really sore right now. And I have to even be guarded as far as who I allow in that space, because that is a sore area. That is a very sore area for me. So it's just realizing that in everyday situation, being present, realizing what's going on, who you allow around you, who you have in your circle, who you have, because I want you to understand this too. Like spirits attract each other, right? And you have to be careful, especially whether we're talking about relationships, whatever it might be. You have to be careful that you don't attract or even continue to look for the same thing that injured you the first time. So you have to be very careful, be very wise, ask God for direction, because that can happen and then you end up re-injuring yourself. So it's about being present in what's going on right now. And I'm going to pass it down to you, Brother King.
I was sharing comments, man. But yeah, I like the fact that you said playing present, because so many of us are absent from our own life that we can't tell what's going on with our own bodies, or we can't tell what's going on with our own minds. And I like how Antoinette Marie set up this conversation. Let me scroll all the way down so I can see live comments. I like how Antoinette Marie set up this whole conversation. And I told you all, y'all would get some notes if you don't have any, because gems will drop all the time here that can transform your life. The definition of healing is a cure or the process of becoming well. And I love that my favorite book says, lay hands on the sick and they shall recover. There are too many of us denying that we need recovery. There are too many of us that's looking at our life and we're trying to make it what we want it to be. And there's nothing wrong with that. But we also have to deal with our present reality. Because if we don't deal with our present reality, we can never change our personality to get a new reality in our life. And I think that's the challenge with a lot of us, is that God is always trying to reveal our heart to us. And it's us always trying to deny that who do men say I am? It's us denying who we say we are. Well, I got over that a long time ago. No, you haven't. Because you got to sit there and explain how you got over it a long time ago. It clearly says that there's more work to be done in that department. And the challenge is for the mere human is we believe that things just happen. Things do not just happen in your life. Just go ahead and write that down. Things does not just happen in your life. Nothing changed until you change it, until you take in new information in order to change the present situation. If you have not, I'm challenging you all to go back to my Motivational Monday 2 Mondays ago, where I talked about mind over matter. And I talked about your conscious mind, your unconscious mind, and your subconscious mind. And there's so many of us that think we change on the conscious level, and it's changed until you reach your unconscious mind and your subconscious mind. Nothing really changes. Your manifestation will stay the same. You will walk around the same mountain for the next 5 years, and you keep producing the same matter the next 5 years because you believe, because I had a change of thought in my conscious mind, that it somehow changed the revelation of what I have in my life. And that's why I love that my book is so plain, that if you lay hands on the sick, they shall recover. This is and I can give you my example. I remember when I was 22 and my dad was in and out of prison my whole life. Didn't have the greatest relationship with my dad. I played college ball and I played high school ball, middle school ball. I don't think my dad came to a lot of my games. And I remember I was just angry. I've heard all the stories about how my dad was a bad man and how he was a drug dealer and how he did all these different things that were just bad. And I subconsciously started believing those things. And I remember getting that call when I was 22 that my dad had passed away at 47 from a massive heart attack in prison. And there were so many questions that I had that was unanswered. They were unanswered. I didn't know. Number one, I'm still trying to figure out who I am. And sometimes, and for all you ladies out there that are single parent homes, sometimes a young male needs to hear from his birth father who birthed him in the earth, or that seed of which he come from, to kind of find out who he is. Sometimes he need to have that conversation for clarity. And I know a lot of times where I don't deal with their dad a bad dude, this, that, and the other, but you got to take you out the equation. Sometimes you got to let that young man be able to come to a conclusion on his own. And I had so many questions, and I went down a path where I wouldn't open myself up to the outside world. Why would I open myself up and I don't know who I am? Why would I want to give myself and not live in self-preservation when I'm trying to figure out who I am? And I went through moments where I made decisions based on what people said about me and not about what I knew about me. And that's why I'm telling you right now that the genesis of true change and the genesis of true healing is gaining new information. If I can just touch the hem of his garment, I could be made whole. What's the difference? I got to get something new in my life that I didn't have before. I'm placing my faith in an area of which that true change can come. If I touch the hem of his garment, I can be made whole. And then too many of us trying to be made whole with no new information, with no new actions based on our behalf. And it wasn't until I was about 24 and I was in I'm gonna tell you, a storefront building church, and I heard a pastor, I call him a mentor of mine now, talk about dominating reign. And until that moment where I learned that whatever I lacked in my life, that God is the great father, that whatever my natural father, whatever lessons my natural father neglected to teach me in this earth, that God is my heavenly father who had me since the foundation of the earth. And whatever he neglected, God has spiritual bumpers. And he said it just like that, spiritual bumpers to kind of get me the lessons that I need to be, that I need to learn in order to be who I am in this earth. And it wasn't until I started changing the narrative of the story that I was telling myself before I understood, man, that there's no deficiency in my life. And I had to start telling myself that story. Did it change overnight? No. Lay hands on the sick and they shall recover. It's an ongoing process. But I had to change the information that was stored in my unconscious mind. Hey, what's up, Nikki? I had to begin to change the information. I had to begin to change the story that I told myself. It's the process of becoming well. And the challenge with most of us is, number one, we don't acknowledge that the trauma still exists. And whatever you're not willing to acknowledge and you're not willing to deal with will continue to plague your life. And I said it just like that. Whether you know it consciously or unconsciously, that those decisions that you're making based on that trauma that happened is still driving the manifestation in your life. We don't acknowledge it. And number two, we say it is not under my control. Well, they did this to me. Well, that happened to me because. Well, if God is God in the heavens and earth, why would he let this bad thing happen to me? The question is not why did he let that happen to me? The question is, how am I going to be better from that situation? And we knew this wasn't going to be popular because, how can I say this? I'm going to say this, and I know some folk going to be mad. That your healing is not about what God wants to do in your life. Your healing is about what you want to do in your life. I just broke bread. He's already blessed you with every spiritual blessing. Now the question is, do you believe enough to put aside every weight that besets you? Do you believe it enough that believe that all things are possible to him that believes? Do you believe it enough to set aside those problems? Hey, and don't worry about it. To keep moving forward. I know you got setback, but faith says I have to keep moving forward. And the challenge with most of us is, in order for us, and I'm just speaking from my life and me trying, look, in the worldly term, discover who I am without the presence of my Father. I'm just speaking like the person that you are today, with everything that you went through and everything that the challenges and the trauma that you've been through, the person you are today cannot walk in the blessing for who you're supposed to be tomorrow. I just broke bread. You can't walk into that place where you can't where your territory is being expanded and you have a 7-figure bank account and you have the business because you will hurt people. And you cannot be blessed with a 45 caliber when you're 4 years old because you're gonna only hurt people. And for some of us, oh my God, I gotta break bread. For some of us, that massive dream is on the other side of forgiveness. That massive dream is on the other side of dealing with that trauma. That massive dream is on the other side and say, Lord, I surrender all to you. I surrender my good, my bad. That massive dream is on the other side of you discovering who you are in the absence of what happened to you. I just broke bread. Antoinette Marie.
You know, I love what Anthony was speaking about when he said the newness, right? The change. And that change starts from within, right? If you're going to live authentic, that change starts with you. And that change starts first within, because we all have done something, what I call, we all have wore this. Everybody did this. How many times do we talked about this before, right?
Yeah.
We all have worn masks around situations, around other people, acting like we are totally, we good. I've heard people say that, how are you? I'm good. But listen, Anthony just talked about there is a process. There is a process, right? He talked about the newness, the change, right? And he also talked about being able to move forward. Listen, you have to move forward. And I know it's difficult. Believe me, I know that it's difficult. But I also want to say this. Being ill, sick, as people would say, when you're in that long time, you begin to think that that's normal. That's just that's just how God made me. That's just who I am. This always happens to me. And we want to tell you this morning that being ill in any form and fashion in your life, it's not normal. It's not. It's not normal for you to have so much hurt within yourself, because you cannot normalize dysfunction. I'll say it that way. Let's stop normalizing dysfunction. Let's start doing that work. Let's start going and approaching people. The Bible says in the book of Matthew, if somebody has offended you, come on, God, if somebody has offended you, that you go to that person. Start normalizing pain and hurt. Because a lot of times what happens is that when we start to normalize pain and hurt, we start to function like it's okay. We start to literally like, oh, it's okay. That's just how it is. Oh, they always been like that. But yet you are continually being bruised every single time. And you give other individuals a pass, but you won't give yourself, you won't encourage yourself. You won't do that work, and you have to do the work. And there are going to be times, beloved, where you're going to have to confront some people. There are going to be some times where you're going to have to confront some people and say, you know what, I just want to let you know that when you did this, this is that. When you said this, this is that. I want to let you know how that affected me. There are going to be some times when you're going to have to do that. And let me tell you this, you're not even doing it for them. You're doing it for yourself. And if it releases them in some way, then that's fine too. And I think many times we don't want to do that part. We just say, oh, I don't even think about it no more. Yeah, you do. You think about it. Yeah, you do. You walk down the street and you see somebody that looked like your ex-wife, and your ex-wife did you wrong. Yeah, you do. You do. Right? And so because we are here on this earth planet, right? And so today, I want to just say to you this, is that when you are true to yourself, the Bible says that the truth will set you free. We got to start telling the truth, y'all. We got to stop compounding it and compounding it. We know this. I hope y'all ate breakfast already. We know this is that if you continue to take in and to take in and to take in and to take in, you get backed up because you are compacted. You get compacted. When will you ever release it? You got to release it. Because let me tell you something. When you get compounded and you backed up and you backed up, you don't even know, but you start to give off a smell, and you like, people ask, are you okay? Yeah, I'm good. No, you're not. You can't see it, but we can see it. And so today, in the process of healing, right? And even when you get compact like that, your whole attitude is different because you're hurting. You don't let somebody continue to offend you. You're like, oh, Lord, forget. Oh, and they keep doing it. And you keep going back. And you keep going back. And you keep going back. And you're hurting. You have not released it. And until you release that, just like Bow, hope you ate. Once you release it, your entire body will be different. Your entire mind will be different. Your spirit will be different. Your soul will be different. But we cannot continue to place ourselves in an environment that continually offends us. Offends us as in our spirit brain, in our spirit being. And then we continue to say, well, I'm fine. God bless you. Let the Lord bless you real good. And we know that we don't really believe, we're not saying that in truth. And we're not robots, y'all. We're not, right? And so today, I just want to say, stop functioning with dysfunction. Just stop functioning with it. Just stop. You can do it. You can do it. I know it might disappoint some people. You can do it though. You have to say, you know what? I want better for my life. I want better for my children's life. I said to you all once before that there are many things that we think that we teach our children. And there are, but there's also many things that our children just catch. So if they see you function in dysfunction, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to function in dysfunction because you know why? Because they're going to think that that's normal. It's normal to be hurt and still go and let somebody keep hurting you every single week. That's normal. And then you're going to realize, those of you that have daughters and those of you that, now I'll say daughters in particular, why she decides to choose a man that continues to hurt her because it has become normal. She feels as though she's functioning. As long as they say the right thing, as long as they touch her the right way, it's in her mind, it's okay, right? So today, I want us to take all that weight off, stop pressing and keep on taking in dysfunction. Stop looking and you believe, well, God's going to do something. Listen, God is. And every single time, when even in the great book, it says by your faith, by their faith, they were healed. And yes, if you want healing, you still have to believe. You have to still believe. And when you have all this weight on you, your children see that weight. Why keep going back to a thing that I already told you that they don't like you? Why keep going back to a situation where people or your job that already said, we don't value you at all, but you keep going back? I don't even like you, but you keep going back. And then what we do is, church folk, we say, well, the Lord told me to. Who? Where is that? I want somebody to please show that to me. Because God is not an offending God. God doesn't offend us in the aspect of, he says, yes, somebody done hit you up in your face 5 times. Whoever done hit you in your face 5 times. Oh, the Lord God told me to stay. No, ma'am, no, sir. No, ma'am, no, sir. Right? And so God is always trying to send us to our next level. He wants you to get to wherever he has already called you on this earth planet to be. But this is what I know for sure. If you release what's in your hand, God will release what's in his to you. I believe that. I believe that. I'm going to tell you, I done been through that. And sometimes you try to keep holding on to it. Well, it's going to get better. It's going to get better. It's going to get better. Yes, Lord, you fall on the floor, you prostrate, you praying. Listen, let me tell you something. You can't change other people. You cannot. You're not God. You're not the God. And you're not them. You cannot change other people. And stop. Again, I don't know who this is for, but stop going back to be re-offended. That's dysfunction. That's dysfunctional. I hear people say all the time. If you keep doing the same thing the same way over and over again, what is that called? That's insanity. That's insanity, right? And sometimes what you think you're holding on to, well, I just want to hold on to it. I just want to hold on to it. Let me tell you, sometimes when you holding on to something, it's actually holding on to you. Oh, y'all gonna catch that later. You think you holding on to a situation, or I'm just gonna stay in that relationship, or listen, that relationship got you. That relationship got you, and you think I'm just going to do it. In order for you to heal, there are going to be times in your life where you have to break it. You have to break free. There are going to be times in your life where you're just going to say, and people are not going to understand it. Let me tell you that part. They're not going to understand it. But let me say this, lean in. They ain't got to understand it. They don't have to understand it. So that part sometimes is the hardest part for us to really understand, for us to know and to understand that, listen, I know y'all not going to agree with this, but God ain't made me on this planet for you to agree with absolutely every single thing that I do. I don't agree with absolutely every single thing that you do. And then a lot of us, we go and we rearrange dysfunction. We, like, it's like being in your living room and you got too much furniture, and then you go in, you like try to rearrange the furniture, but it's the same 10 pieces of furniture. Well, let me just let me go on this side. Let me talk to her like this. Let me talk to him like this. It's the same furniture. The furniture hasn't changed. There are going to be times where you're going to have to say, you know what? It is too much furniture in this living room. I got to take some of this furniture up out of here. Got to. And the way that you start, I love what Anthony said. It is about forgiveness. It's hard to heal when you ain't forgiving folk. You got to forgive people and let them go. Even if everybody around you saying, oh no, if you do that, ooh, girl, ooh, I think the word now is bro. Ooh, bro, if you do that, oh my goodness. Listen, if God be for me, let everybody else be against me. It's all right. It's all right. Y'all know.
I got a seat in the kingdom. It's all right.
It's all right.
I had to come off mute for that one. I got a seat in the kingdom. It's all right.
It is God. It is already all right. Listen, I heard somebody say, matter of fact, Dr. Maya Angelou, I want to bring this point up. Let me go back real quick, because this I think is very important. You know that there's in the greatest book that I know, it talks about, in the book of Mark, I think it's in the book of Mark, where you cannot put when you have new wineskin. So when God is doing a great work in your life, when he said, listen, you've gone through the healing process, and we all are continuing to process, right? But it reminds me of that scripture in Mark. I think it's the second chapter, I believe. And it talks about how can you have put new wine in old wineskins. Let me tell you the reason why you can't. So you've done all this work, but now you're going to go back because you're just like, oh, okay, I'm healed, and I'm going to stop it. Stop. Because here's the thing. Old wineskins have to have already been stretched to the limit. All wineskins have already been stretched to the limit. And many times, a lot of those wineskins have already become brittle as wine tends to ferment, right, on the inside. Why are you going to go back to something that done already been stretched? How you done did all this work? You done laid on your face, you done prayed, you done cried, you done got therapy, you have you're doing your affirmations, you done did art therapy, so on and so, and then you're gonna go back. Who's doing that? Let's not do that. Because what happens is that when you put that newness and who God says that you are, and you go and you try to put that in an old wineskin, what happens to it? It bursts. It bursts, right? And I ain't talking about bursting for no good thing either, right? So sometimes you have to look at that and you have to say, listen, I have done too much work. I have done too much on the inside to continue or to walk back into something that does not serve me anymore. I know people going to say, oh, now you can go back. Baby, you know how much work you done did? Look at Anthony.
Hey, nope.
And
can't do it.
It's right. We got to. Sometimes times we are the offender. We re-offend ourselves because of what other people want us to do, right? Let's stop doing that. I always say something, till you show me something different, I got to believe who you showed me, who you were. Until you show me something different. That's a word for somebody, probably for me. Until you show me something different, I got to stay over here on this road. I got to stay on this road right here. And I love you. You can love people, but you don't have to be involved all up in it. You don't have to do that. And you still love them. Right? Dr. Maya Angelou, let me say this, and I'm done. She said, and I love this. I love this. I never heard this entire thing totally. She said, when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. This is the part. People stop there. People stop there. But here's what she actually said as well. She said, people know themselves much better than you do. That's why it's important to stop expecting people to be something other than who they are. And we do. We expect for people to, because you're changing and you're developing and you're activating and you're doing the work and you got, your energy level is up and you're like, well, it's been 2 years. Why haven't they changed? That's not none of your business. It really isn't. They don't live in you and you don't live within them. And so today, with as much love as possible, we're going to pass it over to Lady Queen.
Yes, ma'am. Let me tell you, this has blessed my little heart. Listen, you know what I realized, and while you were talking, even Brother King said the laying on of hands, that's how people are made whole. But it's an on job or on hand job, if I could put it that way. But what I realized is, and this is going to seriously help somebody because it seriously helped me even more free than I was free before. The woman with the issue of blood, we all have issues, but what's different is when how Sister Queen, you were talking about you becoming backed up, and after a while you give off a smell and people start to see it. But what about those issues that are very internal to where no one else sees them? No one else sees them. And I want you to think about this. The woman with the issue of blood, for her to go out in society was not only illegal, it was something you did not do. It was wrong. You were considered unclean, and I kind of look at that. Only her and God, or her and Jesus, knew at the time, especially when he said, "Who touched me?" He said, "I felt someone touch me." But see, it was this different type of touch. It was the fact that, it was her faith to the fact of, I know exactly what it is that I need to do. And it was some private work. And believe me, it was something that was so personal, where she took the chance because she knew she needed to be made whole. She tried everything else. So sometimes when we have gone to a place where we've tried everything else and nothing is working, we're gonna have to try something we've never tried before, tried something that other people, and hear this and let the Lord lead you on this. But even trying something that people would find to be, no, you don't do that. Because our religious mindset has said, no, you do not do this.
Come on.
The religious mindset says, that's not right. And you're gonna have to get to a place where you say, you know what, I'm so desperate to be healed that I'm willing to take the chance. And not, like I said, let the Lord lead you. Don't be going to do something wrong and then be like, well, Lady Queen, I said, let the Lord lead you.
Disclaimer.
Yeah, disclaimer, exactly. Let the Lord lead you, because a lot of times, because of the fact is, we don't want to be seen as out of order, or we don't want to be seen as, they're going to look at me wrong. They're going to see me as disgusting. They're going to see me as this, because, I want you to think about that. The bleeding, especially like that, that's something that's unclean. That's something that you don't want everybody knowing. And we have hurt and pain like that where we don't want everybody knowing because it's embarrassing. We don't want everybody knowing because you know what? If they found out, then they'll look at me a certain type of way because like legally, I shouldn't even be out here like this. But the thing is, whenever she touched the hem of his garment, and he said, who touched me? And you know what? She realized, you know what? I'm kind of, well, I guess I need to stand up and say, you know what? It's me. It's me. And we have to do that. We have to stand up and say, you know what? It's me. I keep putting myself in this offending environment and wondering why I ain't been made whole. It's me.
Come on, Lady Queen.
And the thing is, though, let me tell you, it takes some big girl and big boy pants to put on to say, you know what? It's me. It is me.
Yeah,
It also takes you to acknowledge the fact so you can be made whole. See, there's a difference between healed and being made whole. There's a difference, and so learning the fact that, you know what, not only do I want the healing, so I do my work, I do my part for the healing, but then it takes God. He ends up saying, you know what, now you've been made whole. Now you've been made whole. And so not only do you get the healing mentally, you get it emotionally, you get it spiritually, you get it physically. He says, now you've been made whole. So it's realizing, you know what, God, I got to accept some responsibility in this.
Yeah.
You know what? It's me. Like I did it. It's me. And then allow God to heal you. And it looks ugly. And believe me, right? You're worried about if people are going to see it splattered on the wall. It's something that you and God knows that you're struggling with. You and God knows. And you're embarrassed about, well, if other people would find out, you'd be embarrassed about it. But the thing is, God said, look, this is some inner work you're seriously going to have to do.
Yeah.
And you done tried everything else. So give God a chance. Give him an opportunity. Give yourself a chance. Take a step out of it. Give yourself another chance at living your best life by acknowledging the fact that, you know what, I have an issue. There's an issue here, and it doesn't look good. But God, I know if I just take a risk, if I just take a chance and touch your garment, that now I have an opportunity to be made whole. And I'm gonna leave it there, Brother King, for you to close it out.
I love what you just said. We have to be made whole. And for some of you all out there that's rolling at 60% of what God created you to be, you got to decide in your mind, I got to be made whole. And the challenge is that we have an enemy that is cunning. We have an adversary that is cunning. God understood. I love the way Lady Queen just broke it down. I took some notes. I love the way she just broke that down. There's a reason why we need to be made whole. See, most of us just go through life with blinders on from day to day with no real purpose, no real mission, no real vision. And we're just going through life with no intentionality. And there's a reason why we need to be made whole. Because listen, I did a message about a year ago, and I love Vanika, who's not on here right now, but she's always quoting it. And I talked about from Martin Luther King when he said, build, baby, build, so you can earn, baby, earn. You cannot build in a 50% capacity when God has called you to Psalm 60, Psalm 30, Psalm 60 to 100-fold. You're building at 60% capacity of who you are when God is giving you 100% capacity. And in moments of dysfunction, in moments of stress, you can never build because all the necessary neurotransmitters that it takes to build are now going to patch up the 40% of your incompleteness. Oh yeah, I just broke bread. Incompleteness.
My God, that's
so
good.
You're spending time fighting demons and battles and all these different things that's going on in your life when God already said, man, we're working on making you whole. You should be taking that energy, putting it in building, baby, building, because there's something that you must do. You're an enemy. Your adversary goes around like a roaring lion. What did that mean, motivational teacher to the masses? That means that thing has no power over you, no more than what you give it. Oh, I just broke bread. Release yourself. Yeah, that's a word for somebody. Release yourself. You sitting down there in Mayberry jail with Bernie Fife and Andy Griffin and the key hanging up right beside you. All you got to do is reach up there, get the key, and let yourself out. Release yourself in here this morning. Release yourself this morning because there's greatness on the inside of you. But in order for you to be able to build that life that God has given you, you got to stop working in mediocrity. Though you're working in areas where I don't fight the motivation. I don't fight where there are no spoils. I don't go looking to try to prove to people how right I am because there are no spoils in me being right. I just broke bread. I'm not looking to go buy a big Benz, a Bentley to try to prove that I done made it. There are no spoils in those areas. We're spending too much time where we should be building, baby, building. We're spending too much time trying to prop up the insecurity in our life. I just broke bread. We're trying to prop up the area in our life where I know I'm broken. Y'all talking to a person who had a spirit of insecurity for a long time. And everything I did was to cover up what was going on the inside of me. I was making six figures, but I was spending six figures because in order to let folk know I made six figures, I had to have a six-figure lifestyle that was costing me six figures.
Come on.
Y'all ain't listening to your boy
Come
right
on.
now.
Come on.
And since I had to produce a six-figure lifestyle, I was broke. I was broke making a lot of money. Why? Because I was trying to hide my insecurity. I was spending more of my time, 40%, 50% of my time trying to prop up my insecurity than I was building. And I'm telling you right there, that's a word for somebody. I'm telling you right now, your adversary is like a roaring lion, and we're sitting there caught in the trap, staring, looking at the mouth. What happened to you a long time ago can't stop you. If it could have stopped you, it would have stopped you then. Trust me that your adversary roaring, if it could have taken you out, your adversary would have wanted it to take you out. Now you're sitting there and you're paralyzed by something that has no power over your life. Yeah. I just broke bread.
Yeah.
You're paralyzed. You're afraid to move. The enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy. Motivational teacher, he can't touch me physically. How does he kill, steal, and destroy? Because he got me worried about things that won't even happen in my life. Mm-hmm. How is he stealing, killing, and destroying? Because right now I'm propping up an insecurity that I'm trying to hide. Mm-hmm. Why? How is he still kill? Because now you're spending your best building years propping up an insecurity. I'm telling you right now, the 60-year-old version of you is dependent on the 40-year-old version of you right now to get up and go to work and to build, baby, build. The 60-year-old version of you cannot have the 40-year-old version of you chasing a lie. Oh, yeah, I'm breaking bread right now. The 60-year-old version of you cannot have the 40-year-old version of you only producing at a 40% capacity because when you get 60, somebody got to make up what the 40-year-old version of you did not do. You came to earth with human capital. I want to put this in money terms. Y'all know I'm a former stockbroker. Let's put this in money terms. Let's put this on money terms. What is your P&E ratio? Like, what are you doing with your time versus the results that you getting back in your life?
Oh, that's good.
I'm telling you right now that there's something on the inside of you right now. We gonna all live to see when we get there. If you 50 to 70-year-old version of you right now, determining for you to, I'm too old, my knees hurt. You better stop lying. You sitting there telling yourself that story. Well, when I was young, I had a car accident. It messed up my knee, and my knee ain't been right since then. What is that? What is that motivation? You better let the healing begin. We just talked about emotional trauma. Now we're talking about physical trauma. You better let the healing begin. Well, you know, when I went through this experience when I was young, and I just ain't been right. Well, you better let the healing manifest, because when you get to be 60, when you get to be 70, that 40, 50-year-old version of you better be somewhere with a hammer and a nail, because I'm gonna tell you, like they told my boy Noah, it's gonna rain. And you better be preparing right now. I'm telling you, like for some of us, okay, I'm gonna tell you this. I gotta get ready to go. I gotta get ready to pass this thing. But for some of us, I know my place in the kingdom. I know I got a lot of blood on my hand. I'm not gonna be able to build a temple, but I'm gonna leave everything behind for my boy Solomon and for my boy Anthony and for my boy Christian to build the temple. You got to understand where you are in the overall arc of God's plan for your life. I got too much blood on my hand. I've had to take down poverty. I've had to slay debt. I've had to slay insecurity. I had to slay a fatherless home. I got too much blood on my hands, but I'm making the way for my kids to be able to build, baby, build in a place I'm slaying the Amorites. I'm slaying the Hittites. Every type that come our way, I gotta slay them. You know why? Because right now I can't spend my time worried about what my dad didn't do. I'm too busy being a dad to my own boys. I just broke bread. I can't sit here and whine about us having to borrow soap when I was young because we didn't have soap in the house. I'm too busy providing soap for my own house.
Mm-hmm.
And that's so many of us that we've started to allow this life to dictate what we do, and we allow the trauma, and we've allowed the accident, we allow the things that happen in our life to determine the decisions that we're making. I'm telling you right now, you possess the power to change that.
Yes.
Don't allow the enemy to steal, kill, and destroy. And when I say the enemy, I'm talking about the inner me.
Yes,
the inner me, the devil make me. No, this ain't Flip Wilson. The devil can't make you do it. You make conscious, deliberate, intentional decisions to do it on your own. Come on, I'm too busy creating and overcoming that I don't have time to step back into the boo-boo that I got delivered from, that I got out of. Yep, I've been out the boo-boo for 6 years, and I find my way back into it. Like I'm proactively looking for the same mistake I made to make it again 6 years from now. Got boo-boo all over me. And when you got boo-boo all over you, it's not in a position to build, because everything you build will have boo-boo on it. I just broke bread. Antoinette Marie, speak.
Listen, you just blessed my spirit today. Thank you. That's when you don't know what to say, just say thank you. I tell you what, you and Kenny Wilder, listen, sir, absolutely. You said, Mr. Wilder said, like the man with the mat. So y'all know he's talking about the short guy in the Bible where it talks about I just needed for somebody to put me into the river so that I could be whole as the angels were stirring. Y'all, okay. Listen, stop it. You have to do your work. You have to take responsibility. I'm talking to myself. You got to take responsibility for you that you have continued to allow something, some situation, somebody. You did that. You kept going back. You kept thinking that their situation gonna change, they gonna change, so on and so. You kept doing that. Today, you are emancipating yourself. Baby, let me tell you today, you are emancipating yourself. Listen, God has something greater. God has something greater. We already talked about all the newness that's within you, all the greatness that's within you. You know the reason why it didn't work? It didn't work out, and you tried 5 times. Some of y'all tried it 5, 6 times to stay in the same relationship. It didn't work out because it didn't fit you. You have grown. You have grown. How can you have passed the 5th grade, but you want to go back to the 1st? Why? There's no reason for you to do it, beloved. And I love what I think Joy said. She said, Bill, baby, Bill, listen, that might have been Tina. Let's build great things. Let's build great things. But it's going to be hard for you to build that great, magnificent, whatever God is telling you to build, business, career, whatever it is, household, family. And you still thinking about the what is, and or you still complaining about ain't nobody helped me. Can I tell you something? Sometimes you got to help yourself. And sometimes you have to say, you know what? When everybody forsake me, still gonna push forward.
Come on, sis.
When every single person says, why would you do that? You have to say to yourself, sometimes you have to encourage yourself. I'm not a psalmist, but I can, I got a little something. Sometimes you got to encourage yourself when people looking at you crazy. They think you crazy, but you're not crazy. But what happened is you done been around a whole bunch of crazy folk, including them. When you gonna stand out?
Yeah, I love the comments in here to emancipate yourself. I am my own rescue. And the moment we start realizing those things is where we take the power back. It's time to take your power back. You got me. we listen, man. I'm gonna tell you something that I know about God. God didn't give any one person everything. Everybody got something to work on. So we sit there and we want to hate on people that made it, and people that's doing some of the things that we want to do. But I'm telling you right now, you being able to do that is on the other side of how you view that thing. Like you got to change how you see it. I'm my own problem, but I am my own answer at the same time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And some of us, this is this part right here. Some of us have expected for some other folk or situation to move us into the next level. And they ain't doing it because they can't do it. They can't do it. They got their whole life themselves to how they gonna move you into the next level? What's yours is yours.
Amen.
But you gotta do the work. You gotta do the work. And I know we looking like, oh, okay, I've been at a situation for a long time and I should be this by now. I should be this by now. But they didn't get out the way and that's supposed to be my position. And no. There's nothing it has nothing to do with they. It has everything to do with you. It really does. And now you got to start taking responsibility for that. That blessed me today. We ourselves have to start to take responsibility for allowing other people to have that type of power over our own lives. Right? How do we do that? How do we do that? Right? And I like what Ken said. Ken said, if you don't step into your future, no one else will do it for you. Oh my God. Who?
I love the fact that God hid the kingdom, the one place where he knew nobody can interfere with you finding it. He hid it on the inside of you. Everything that you want in your life has already been deposited in you from the foundation of the earth. Now the challenge is to you to become the version of who you're supposed to be in order to manifest that thing into the earth.
Yes.
That is the challenge.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And when you know things in your life, even if you've gone back to them 5 and 6 times, I believe and I trust God that this word today will catapult you to where you know that you need to be. That is my prayer today. Because you cannot blame somebody else if you still sitting in a movie theater and the movie ain't even on the screen no more.
I love that analogy.
You can't. And you still sitting waiting for the next movie for somebody else to play another film. You waiting for them to play the film and you're just still sitting there. You have lost time. And some of us, including myself, and some of us, we don't have no more time to be losing. We don't have no more time to be sitting. You don't have no more time because what you're trying to do at 50, God allowed for you to have the magnitude, the dimensional brain fortitude to do it at 40. You got work to do. Take up the mat, pick up your bed, and you go ahead and put it into the river. You put it into the river. It's already, God, the angels are already done shook it, done stirred it. Because you got God to do something you. So it's your time now. It's your time. You don't have to.
Somebody need to go to the box and put that in there. It's my time.
It is your time.
It's my time. Somebody need to go to the chat box and prophesy to yourself.
Chat box.
Somebody need to prophesy to themselves today. It is my time. I don't care. Come hell or high water. Come this, come that. It is challenges. I don't care. It is my doggone time.
And
somebody need to own that.
Own it. Take it back.
Somebody need to own that.
Every single part. And I'm going to say this to somebody. I don't know who it's for. It might be for me. Y'all remember that movie? I'm just going to say 2 words. The title's 2 words. Get out. Get out. Get out. Get out. If it ain't serving you, and if it's hindering you, if it's offending you, every single time, every moment, and you know that you are not growing, baby, get out. Get out. Now listen, This disclosure. I ain't telling you to get out your marriage because you didn't like what she made for breakfast. That ain't what we telling you here on Bridging the Nation. We're not telling you that. We saying go make your own breakfast sometimes. Matter of fact, won't you make her some breakfast? But what I'm saying is for those that have an ear, come on, God, let them hear. If it continues to offend you, if it continues to bruise you, and you know that you've done so much work, why you keep going back? Why? Because you think they're going to change? I think, honestly, you need to make sure that you've changed. Have you really changed? Have you really been healed? Have you really forgiven people? Are you really wanting to be whole? Right? That's what we're talking about today. And you can do it. And you can do it. You have the capability to doing it.
We have to place our priorities and our energy,
yes,
our time and resources in the right areas. That's the challenge for most of us. We're spending so much of our time and resources in areas that does not yield us any fruit. We don't fight where there are no spoils. And it's time for us to change the allocation of my time, change the allocation of my resources into areas that allow me to build, baby, build. I can't keep having these same negative conversations about how he hurt me or how it made me feel when this happened when I was young. We got to move beyond those conversations, start moving into conversations that edify and build us up.
Yes.
To where we start building, baby, building, so we can earn, baby, earn. And I'm just gonna say this. I got you, Ryan. I got you queued up right here, Dorinda Clark. I got you queued up right here. You giving me too many songs, Ryan. I want to say this right here, man. I want to say this. You have to build, baby, build. Number one, so you can earn, baby, earn, but so also you can influence, baby, influence. The name of this game is influence. How many people do I have in my circle? How many people do I have that we're working together to accomplish a specific goal? How many people do you have in your circle that's going the direction where you want to go and not the direction where you were? Yeah. I say it all the time. You won't find me where I was 10 years ago. You won't find me in that same place. Yet they used to call me Lil Tony growing up, but my name ain't Lil Tony anymore. My name ain't Lil Tony. I'll even answer to it, the family members, but that ain't who I am anymore. That's not who I am. And for some of us, we got to stop allowing people to define us where they found us. Yeah. Because I was in that state when you met me doesn't mean that I'm in that same state. I've become I've become a new being. Behold, all those old things have passed away, and I'm a new being today. I've been transformed by Big Tony, by the renewing of my mind. Yeah, you crazy to my Big Tony.
I see it.
It's time to transform, y'all. I'm with you on that.
It is. It's absolutely time to transform. But Shamika said, my name is not Jacob anymore.
It's
absolutely
Israel.
Right. You're absolutely
it's
right.
Israel.
His name is Israel. And you got to change your name. You got to do it. Stop waiting for other people to change your name for you. You do.
And I love the fact that on our show, like I've seen Angelique change her name to the artist. I've seen Vaniqua change her name to the future DON. I've seen other people change their name. I've changed mine to Williams Inspires instead of Anthony Williams. I see, Antoinette speak. Lady Queen been Lady Queen ever since I seen her come on here. She had a revelation I didn't have when I started. But that's good. You can't find me at that same address anymore. So don't look for me there.
Good. That's good. That's good. And so as we end today here on Bridging the Nations, we hope and we pray that anything that we said, that if it inspired you, if it motivated you, we want to see you grow. And that's really what we're about. We want to see you grow. And so I hear William Inspires, and I already got the music in the queue. And heal from it all.
Yeah, we don't have to leave here the same, ladies and gentlemen.
You don't have to leave here the same. You don't.
Thank you, Ryan, for the suggestion. Sons Inspirator. I love it. Gifted Warrior Production.
I love that, Ryan. Thank you, Lori, for being here. Thank you.
I'm the one.
For being here. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Joy Jacobs. Thank you, Tina. Thank you, Crystal. Thank you so much, Miss Senegal, for being here. Shamika, We know that you're doing that God's business. So we totally understand that. And thank you for being here, Lori and Brandy and Kenny. We want to say we appreciate you. We don't take by you being here for granted. But I will tell you this much today. This word right here was rooted and suitable for us all.
Yeah. Yeah.
For us all. The situation you know is toxic. Get out and heal, and you can do it from the inside out. We are Bridging the Nations, and we will see you next week.